I think he's exactly the type of striker Tranmere need. From the way we play and things like that, I think we were the top three clubs to produce long balls so far, and that's always going to be an issue when you've got a striker. We had obviously Josh Davison up front for the past few games, and he's got an aerial duels rating of about 30% last season. So he'd win 30% of aerial duels. When you're a team that produces lots of long balls, if you're losing 2/3 of the duels, you're never going to be in a game. Joe Ironside, for comparison, in his last sort of big season, which I think was the League Two one with Doncaster, the season previous to them getting promoted, because obviously he played sub appearances. It's a different sort of game when you're being brought on. But the season where he did play, a fair amount of games, I think he had an aerial duel rating of about 50%, somewhere around there. So again, it's a huge improvement, and it means we can play that type of football. You look back to, I think it was the Colchester game right at the start of the season. When we swapped players and we brought Dennis on, you could see that Tranmere were trying to defend. They were trying to bring the line back and sort of look for that target man to get out. Obviously, defending the 1-0 lead, and we just couldn't do it. Christian Dennis, obviously at the time, couldn't do it, and stats would suggest that if Davison was on the pitch, he couldn't do it either. And now it gives us a chance to play that way, so we can defend a lead and have a really deep back line, but we've got that outlet in attack. Again, headers, everything. I'd say it's the perfect mix between Andy Cook and James Norwood, really. Slightly on the older side and potentially not as much pace as Norwood or physicality as Cook, but somewhere in between. I mean, a good goal scoring record to match as well. So certainly a good striker for this division.
He absolutely is, and that makes it all the more remarkable that Tranmere have managed to get him on a 3-year contract, which is not something Tranmere tend to offer to players too often, and we'll get onto that kind of side of things in a moment or two. Look, you can look at the raw numbers and go, this guy scores goals by the looks of it every other season. He got 20 in 2023-24 for Doncaster in the league alone. He got 24 in total in 55 appearances. Last year, 4 in 39. He got 14 in consecutive seasons for Cambridge, once in League Two, once in League One. So he scored at a higher level. He's got the goal scoring knack that this Tranmere team needs, and I don't think it's too outlandish to say that he is probably the missing piece of the jigsaw.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you look at strikers last season in the league as a whole, that probably should have been there or there about the top scorers. I mean, there's some there. Obviously, Jatta for Notts County, along with David McGoldrick, two big target men. Michael Cheek for Bromley, again, a sort of target man-ish. And even Andy Cook, obviously, he got injured halfway through the season, so he couldn't continue that goal-scoring record, but he would have been right up there. And Nathan Lowe for Walsall, after he got recalled, obviously couldn't continue. But again, what a sensational player he was in this division. They're all big physical players, and you need that in this division. I think you really do. And we've been missing it for years and years, and since James Vaughan, really. Obviously, I mean, his departure was quite sudden, quite unexpected, and it sort of left us with no no answers. And I mean, yeah, we've taken a few seasons, and I think that's sort of been the case with Tranmere over the years. I think even you look back to the goalkeeping aspect, we took a few seasons before we got it right with Luke McGee. But I think this is the player now, Joe Ironside. Highly rated pretty much everywhere he's went. You have a look at Grant McCann's sides; they're really hardworking. I mean, he's said time after time, if you don't want to win the league, when they were in League Two, don't be here. And I think any player who didn't and wouldn't work as hard as him wouldn't have been in that Doncaster team. And obviously, the season they got promoted, he was on the bench most of the time, but he was within the squad. And I think it shows how hardworking he is. And like I say, that's all we want as Tranmere fans is a striker that's hardworking and can hit the back of the net more times than not, let's say.